Hi everyone, I've been dying to be back and here I am. Dreamy December is upon us. December is my absolute favorite month. It's my birthday month. I hope you've all been flourishing and have been enjoying your peppermint mochas or your peppermint teas or whatever it is that accompanies your meditative moods. So today I'm going to talk about the power of the unsaid, and of course I'm going to leave a lot unsaid because that expression, the power of the unsaid, is so broad and can mean so many different things. So one could argue that in literature, metaphor and symbolism are all about the power of suggestion, the power of using association and projection to not spell things out, but to allude to things or suggest things. At its most basic level, the power of the unsaid can be the difference between the literal and the metaphorical, between that spelled out or said directly and that which is implied indirectly. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read a piece by Lydia Davis, whose virtues I had extolled last time. And it's called In a House Besieged. In a house besieged lived a man and a woman. From where they cowered in the kitchen, the man and woman heard small explosions. The wind, said the woman. Hunters, said the man. The rain, said the woman. The army, said the man. The woman wanted to go home, but she was already home, there in the middle of the country in a house besieged. So at its most simple level, at its most literal level, basically this piece is creating this image in which there's a man and a woman, two unnamed characters, and they're at home, they're terrified, they're frightened, they're cowering because there are all these sounds, the source, the origin of which is unclear, and they're speculating as to what the sounds could be. And the woman wants to go home, but she's already home. But at the level of metaphor, at the level of implication, at the level of symbolism, this could mean so many different things. This could be home itself is a metaphorical construct. It's this safe, secure, stable sanctuary, this haven, this resting place that we create for ourselves, which can only do so much in terms of protecting us from the ravages of time, from the forces of nature, from the forces of human nature, from external forces that pose a threat, that are hostile to our pursuit of happiness, to our stability, to our equilibrium, to our peace of mind, to the life that we are trying to create for ourselves. So it can be a metaphor for life and loss and what it means to be human. It can it can be saying something about relationships. The fact that in this world, in this hostile world, we only have each other. Such is the human condition, that we only have each other to connect to huddle together with. It can also be about alienation, the feeling of not being at home when you are home, of feeling disconnected. It can be about the fact that as human beings, we stand small and ultimately powerless in many ways, or with limited power against the magnitude of the world at large. Here we are, and such is the human condition, that there are so many things that are out of our control, that we have only limited power to change or to grapple with. So it can be about the human condition, about relationships, about alienation, about fear. It can be about so many different things. There could be things that Lydia Davis was thinking about when she wrote this piece that I haven't touched upon, or that most critics don't touch upon when they read a piece like this. It can be read in different ways by different people at different times of their lives, depending on what they're going through, can read it differently. To me, the power of the unsaid also ties to the fact that reading itself is not a passive process in which words are thrown at you. It is an active process of exercising the imagination, of reading between the lines, of connecting the dots, of using association and projection to elicit meaning from a text. In terms of the craft of writing, to me, the idea of the power of the unsaid is linked to showing and not telling. So instead of spelling out things in so many words in order to create a character or to depict a scene, you leave things to the imagination, or you do that more effectively by leaving things unsaid. For instance, a very standard example is that of, instead of saying in so many words that there is a gentleman who has more to him than meets the eye, you basically, when a character is created who's very prim and proper, who's always dressed in crisp business suits, and then suddenly during a meeting he turns his face to one side and there's a huge scorpion tattoo, which suggests that there's a lot we don't know about him. Or in a scene where there's a conversation in which things seem very hunky-dory between two characters, but a chance remark or a gesture suggests that there's a lot lurking beneath the surface, and in fact what is not being said may be as important or even more important than what is actually being said. I'd like to conclude by saying that in song lyrics and in political rhetoric, I think the power of the unsaid is used a great deal because the imagination of the reader, the listener, is engaged to create an emotional impact. So there are many devices of rhetorical composition of political rhetoric, and I would love to talk about them in a future video. It's really fascinating. But what I'm talking about really is when song lyrics are sometimes very vague, or political rhetoric can be very broad, so that the words can actually mean whatever people want them to mean. So I'm going to say bye for now, but thank you so much for listening, and I'm going to be back with some very special episodes. Thank you so much. Bye.